Hello guys, it's Shark121 and we are jumping right into camp chat. Camp chat. God damn, I'm gonna jump right into freaking hooked on phonics after this, honestly. Jeez. Anyway, first off the bat, let's talk to Alistair.
Something on your mind?
I have some questions.
Of course.
Oh, buddy. And this is one of the things, everyone's got their own speciality. And once you've gained enough approval with them, you can have them teach others. So let's see if we can do this with Alistair. Can you teach others to be a Templar?
Others, yes. But not
Of course.
I need someone who's trained first as a warrior. It's as much about discipline as anything. I guess if I'm going to give up Chantry secrets, I may as well go all the way. Send whoever you want trained to me in camp, and I'll see what I can do.
Cool.
Something on your mind? Of course.
Let's see. If you were raised in the Chantry, have you never...
Never what? Had a good pair of shoes?
Sex?
Oh, so that's what we're talking about. Well, if you really want to know, you tell me first.
Well, I think I did. I think we mean the elf. Pretty sure we did. Tell you what, of course I have.
And apparently you have no shame as well. Well, all right, I'll play along. I, myself, never had the pleasure. Not that I haven't thought about it, of course. But, you know.
You know. You like the proper parts. You've never had the opportunity?
Well, living in the Chantry is it's not exactly a life for rambunctious boys. They raised me to be a gentleman. That's not so bad, is it?
No. Not really, no.
I've no urge to rush into anything. We may not even survive what is to come, after all. Enough. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Let's go.
Alistair's just kind of funny with that. I don't know, like... I think if you're a female warden and trying to seduce him, he kind of acts just as funny. It's just interesting.
Something on your mind? Of course.
Alright, so what else you got here? Why did you keep your birthright a secret?
You never asked.
Smart ass. Did you not trust me? I thought we were friends.
We are friends. I didn't mean to... It wasn't supposed to... Oh, let me explain. The thing is, I'm used to not telling anyone who didn't already know. It was always a secret. Even Duncan was the only Grey Warden who knew. And then after the battle, when I should have told you, I don't know, it seemed like it was too late by then. How do you just tell someone that?
Huh. I guess I can understand that.
I should have told you, anyway. It was important for you to know. I guess part of me liked you not knowing.
Huh. Why? What happens when people find out?
They treat me differently. I become the bastard prince to them, instead of just Alistair. I know that must sound stupid to you, but I hate that it shaped my entire life. I never wanted it, and I certainly don't want to be king. The very idea of it terrifies me.
Huh. Don't want to be king? Why not?
Hello? Have you met me? I'm no leader of men. I don't want to be the person sitting on the throne and making decisions that affect the lives of others. It just isn't me. I guess I should be thankful that Al Eamon is far more likely to inherit the throne. If he's all right. Oh, I hope he's all right. And for what it's worth, I'm sorry for not telling you sooner. It was a dumb thing.
It's alright. Don't worry about it, Alistair. No harm done.
I guess it's kind of a relief that you know now. Let's go.
Yeah, no big deal, brother.
Something on your mind?
Maybe.
Of course.
What changes about you after the joining?
You mean other than becoming a Grey Warden?
Physically. You've been a Grey Warden longer than I have.
You know, I asked Duncan this too, and all I got was, "You'll see."
What? He wouldn't tell you.
Oh, it's not that Duncan wants to keep it a secret. It's just that the Grey Wardens don't discuss it much. I gather it's not a pleasant
Nope.
topic. The first change I noticed was an increase in appetite. I used to get up in the middle of the night and raid the castle larder. I thought I was starving. I'd slurp down every dinner like it was my last. My face all covered in gravy. When I'd look up, the other Grey Wardens would stare, then laugh themselves to tears.
Huh. I haven't felt anything like that.
Really? I saw you eating dinner the other day. Savage.
Oh, well. Yes, well.
Ah, yes, the classy camaraderie of two men traveling out in the open. I take it you were like this before the joining, then. Oh, and then there were the nightmares. Duncan said it was part of how we sense the Darkspawn. We tap into their, well, I don't know what you'd call it, their group mind.
Hive mind.
And when we sleep, it's even worse. You learn to block it out after a while, but at first it's hard. It's supposed to be worse for those who join during a blight. How is it for you?
Yeah. I've had some strange dreams, man.
Some people never have much trouble, but that's rare. Others have trouble sleeping their entire life. They're just more sensitive, I suppose. Everyone ends up the same, though. Once you reach a certain age, the real nightmares come. That's how a Grey Warden knows his time has come.
Huh. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's right. We never had time to tell you that part, did we? Well, in addition to all the other wonderful things about being a Grey Warden, you don't need to worry about dying from old age. You've got 30 years to live, give or take.
Oh.
The taint. It's a death sentence. Ultimately, your body won't be able to take it. When the time comes, most Grey Wardens go to Orzammar and die in battle rather than waiting. It's tradition.
Why Orzammar?
You'll always find Darkspawn down where the dwarves are. The oldest Grey Wardens head to the deep roads for one last glorious battle. Not that there's a shortage of Darkspawn during a blight, but that's the tradition. The dwarves respect us for it. And you wondered why we kept the joining a secret from the new recruits. There you have it.
Yeah. Seems a high price to pay.
I suppose it is. We're the only ones who can stop the blight, however. Is there a price too high to pay for
Nope.
that? You know, Duncan, he started having the nightmares again. He told me that in private. He said it wouldn't be long before he'd go to Orzammar himself. I guess he got what he wanted. I just wish it had been something worthy of him.
Huh. He will be remembered, Alistair, as will the others.
I know. Ending the blight should make this all worthwhile, right?
Yep. Alistair approves. Now, see, what makes me kind of interested about this is he's always saying how it's always with the Grey Wardens about that, where they have that calling after, as Alistair says, 30 or so years. Now, what's interesting is, I mean, we come across a lot of characters who say they used to be Grey Wardens, but aren't any longer. But of course, I mean, it's not like you can take out the taint or the Darkspawn blood, so I mean, I'm just curious about that. Jake, what the hell are you barking about?
Your dog is filthy. I can smell him 50 yards off.
Good. He will fill our enemies with his stench.
That may be so, but all the same, I would like your permission to bathe.
What? Oh. Well, go ahead. He is getting a little rank. Oh, hush.
Excellent. I will get my soaps, and the dog shall have his bath after supper.
Relax, Jake. Wagging his tail happily. Let's pet him. Yeah, it's a good dog. It's a good killer dog. Alright. So, we've talked to him. How about you, Sten? You got anything new?
You are not quite as callow as I
Good.
thought. That is unexpected.
Callow? You thought I was callow?
You sound surprised. You must have heard this before. You'll get over it. Eventually.
So will you tell me now why you were caged?
I caged myself. A weak mind is a deadly foe, as you are no doubt aware.
Exactly what happened.
I told you before that I was sent here. I was not sent alone. I came to your lands with 7 of the Beresad, my brothers, to seek answers about the Blight. We made our way across the Ferelden countryside without incident, seeing nothing of the threat we were sent to observe. Until the night we camped by Lake Callahan. It came from everywhere. The earth beneath our feet, the air above us. Our own shadows harbored the darkspawn. I saw the last of the creatures cut down, too late. I fell.
What happened to the other Canary?
I am told no others survived. I don't know how long I lay on the battlefield among the dead, nor do I know how the farmers found me. I only know that when I woke, I was no longer among my brothers, and my sword was gone from my hand.
You probably dropped it on the battlefield.
Perhaps. I searched for it, and when that failed, I asked my rescuers what had become of it.
Did the farmers know where it was?
They said they found me with nothing.
And then?
I killed them. With my bare hands. I did. I knew they didn't have the blade. They had no reason to lie to me. I panicked. Unthinking, I struck them down.
Oh. You panicked over a lost blade?
That sword was made for my hand alone. I have carried it from the day I was set into the Beresad. I was to die wielding it for my people. Even if I could cross Ferelden and Tevinter unarmed and alone to bring my report to the Arishok, I would be slain on sight by the Antam. They would know me as soulless, a deserter. No soldier would cast aside his blade while he drew breath.
Huh. Can you search for it?
If I knew where to look, it would be in my hand now.
Where did you fight the Darkspawn?
Near Lake
There
Callahan.
we go. Don't worry, we'll find it.
Perhaps those words are empty, but thank you all the same.
The Sword of the Beresad. Cool. So now we got Sten's personal quest 2 now. To find his sword, which is quite important.
You called.
I did. I have a question.
I am hardly surprised.
Do you fight for Elden very strange?
To put it lightly, no one has a place here. Our farmers wish to be merchants. The merchants dream of being nobles, and the nobles become warriors. No one is content to be who they are.
Huh. Is there anything you like about Ferelden?
There is interesting food here. You have a thing. It doesn't have a word in the Kunari tongue. Little baked things like bread, but sweet and crumbly.
This is actually pretty funny. Cookies?
Yes, we have no such things in our lands. This should be remedied.
I'll keep that in mind.
Shall we move on?
Oh, hold on. You sound a bit homesick.
Perhaps. It's strange to be in a crowd and hear a language that is not your own. To see faces that are and aren't like yours. I miss the smells of Saharon. Tea and incense and the sea. Ferelden smells of wet dogs.
Dogs don't smell that bad.
Skunks don't mind the smell of other skunks
Hey.
either. Shall we move on?
Don't the Canary ever want to change their lot in life?
What does that accomplish? The farmer who buys a shop is never a merchant. He is always a farmer turned merchant. He carries his old life with him as a turtle carries its shell.
Huh. But that makes the turtle stronger.
Does it? It's also his weakness. If he stumbles and falls over, it pins him on his back. It is better to armor yourself with no more than what you need. One life, one duty.
Suppose that's true.
Shall we move on?
I want to discuss something you mentioned.
Speak, then.
Nothing.
Then I suggest we move on.
Alright, well. Let's go.
As you wish.
Oh, wow, we got a lot of approval there. And mind you, a little bit of that was fractured so that we could get that approval. Liliana, you got anything going on?
Something I can help with?
I'd like to talk to you about something.
Yes? What's on your mind?
Let's see, why did you decide to come to Ferelden?
My mother was from Denerim, and I consider myself a Ferelden. Mother served an Orlesian noblewoman who lived here when Orlais ruled. When Orlais was defeated and the common folk began to resent the presence of any Orlesian, the lady returned to Orlais. She took my mother with her. I was born in Orlais and did not set foot in Ferelden till much later. Mother was always telling me stories of her homeland. I think she missed it.
What happened to your mother?
Mother died when I was very young. Lady Cecily let me stay with her. I had no one else. She was quite old then, and she had me study music and dance to entertain her. It is unfair that I have more memories of Cecily than my mother.
Yeah. What was Cecile like?
She was an elderly lady, very refined and proper. She had impeccable manners and taste, more so than a lot of Orlesian ladies. Cecily was also kind. My mother was unmarried and with child. It was scandalous, and Cecily had every right to turn my mother out. She didn't. Strangely, the only thing I really remember of Mother was her scent. She kept dry flowers in her closet amongst her clothes. Small white Ferelden wildflowers with a sweet fragrance. Mother called them Andrastis Grace. They were very rare in Orlais. But enough about that. Let us move on.
Hold on a minute.
Something I can help with? Yes? What's on your mind?
Do you miss anything about Orlais?
I miss Val-Royeaux. Unlike other cities where the people are the lifeblood and the character, Val-Royeaux was her own person, and her people little more than decorations. There was always music in Val-Royeaux, streaming from the many windows, quiet refrains and triumphant choruses, and always, floating above that all, the chant, coming from the Grand Cathedral. It was magnificent.
Sounds wonderful.
Oh, it would take me a day or two to talk about the many splendors of Orlais, her golden fields, her lush meadows. Of course, there are good things and bad things about Orlais, like anywhere else. Sometimes I miss it dearly, and sometimes I'm glad I'm rid of it. And you will laugh at this, but I miss the fine things I had in Orlais.
What sort of things?
Dresses, fine dresses and furs. And shoes, of course. One can't mingle with nobility with bad shoes, you see. Orlais is very fashionable. Almost ridiculous.
Yep.
But the shoes. Living with those ridiculous trends was worth it for the shoes.
I don't really care much for shoes myself, honestly. You can get nice shoes in Denerim.
Perhaps. Ferelden folk are so much more practical. I don't see them making use of something simply for its looks. When I left Orlais, the fashion was shoes with delicate tapered heels and embellishments in the front. A ribbon, perhaps, or embroidery. In soft colors, of course. It was spring.
Wouldn't that be hard to walk in?
I wouldn't want to run in it, or have to enter battle, but for lounging in a lady's sitting room? Perfect. The shoes made in Orlais were exquisite. Not at all like these clunky fur-lined leather boots you have in Ferelden. Ugh, just look at them.
Hey. They're comfortable.
They're sturdy shoes, but sometimes a girl just wants to have pretty feet.
Oh, I could talk about shoes all day, but we have things to do,
Yeah.
don't we?
Let me see if there's anything else we can talk to her about.
Something I can help with? Yes? What's on your mind?
I heard that in Orlais, minstrels are often spies.
Where did you hear this?
I read it in a history book.
And did you not think that this could be historical fact and no longer true? Not all minstrels are spies. Most are just singers and storytellers. But some of them are what we call bards.
What's the difference?
Many use the two words minstrel and bard interchangeably, but to do so in Orlais would cause misunderstanding. Bards are minstrels and more. Spies, as you say. Some say there is a bard order, but I don't think this is true. Many bards work alone or in small groups, doing the bidding of a patron who pays for their services. If there is an organization behind it all, no one knows who they are.
Huh. Let's see, do they spy on Ferelden?
Some do. Mostly, it is nobles spying on other nobles. In Orlais, there is much rivalry amongst the highborn. They fight over land, influence, and the favor of the Empress. But they cannot do this openly because it is impolite, and in public, they wear smiling faces and pretend to be civil. In secret, they plot and scheme to destroy each other. It is a game completely meaningless to anyone but its players.
You seem to know quite a bit about these bards.
And I should, shouldn't I, after having spent most of my adult life as one? You've guessed as much,
Yep.
I'm sure. But does it really matter what I was? What's past is past.
Huh. But why were you, living cloistered sister in what? Sentence really doesn't make sense. But why were you living cloistered sister in rural Ferelden? I think they've got an inn in there.
I found myself in Ferelden and sheltered from bad weather in the Chantry. And when the storm passed, I just did not want to leave. I like to see the Maker brought me here.
Okay. There's a little bit more to that.
Something I can
Let's
help with?
see. Ooh. Can you teach me to be a bard?
That's an idea. I've watched you, and I do think you'd find some of my skills quite easy to pick up. Let's just go over there, away from the others, for safety, yes? I expect there shall be daggers flying about willy-nilly for a time.
Okay. We got that. Let's see what's going on with Morgan here. How are you, lovely?
I await your command.
Giggity. So life in the wilds must have been very lonely.
At times, perhaps. A world full of people and buildings and things was all very foreign to me. If I wished companionship, I ran with the wolves and flew with the birds. If I spoke, 'twas to the trees.
It does actually sound wonderful, really. I mean, it's kind of nice.
For a time, but one can only remain a child for so long. I recall the first time I crept beyond the edge of the wilds. I did so in animal form, remaining in the shadows and watching these strange townsfolk from afar. I happened upon a noblewoman by her carriage, adorned in sparkling garments the likes of which I had never before seen. I was dazzled. This, to me, seemed what true wealth and beauty must be. I snuck up behind her and stole a hand mirror from the carriage. It was encrusted in gold and crystalline gemstones, and I hugged it to my chest with delight as I sped back to the wilds.
Huh. What happened then?
Flemeth was furious with me. I was a child and had not yet come into my full power, and I had risked discovery for the sake of a pretty bauble. To teach me a lesson, Flemeth took the mirror and smashed it upon the ground. I was heartbroken.
Oh. But you were just a child.
And a foolish one. Flemeth was right to break me of my fascination.
No.
Beauty and love are fleeting and have no meaning. Survival has meaning. Power has meaning. Without those lessons, I would not be here today, as difficult as they might have been. They did indeed. To return to your original question, perhaps my time in the wilds was indeed lonely, but such was how it had to be. I find myself at times wondering what might have become of the girl with the beautiful golden mirror, but such fantasies have no place amidst reality.
I don't know about that.
I await your command.
Huh. I'd like to discuss something personal.
We are in camp, so 'tis as good a time as any.
No, not that.
I await your command.
I'd like to ask you something.
So, full of questions, are
Yep.
you?
I can't pursue a romance just yet, so just have to wait on that. But now we can actually chat up with our new members here. So we got Win over there, Zevran, and Shale over there. So let's see what's going on with Win.
Oh, it's been a long day. Rest would be...
I hear you. Are you alright?
Yes, of course. I am just a little weary. As you may have noticed, I'm no spring chicken.
You are very sprightly for your age, though.
Thank you. You're very kind to say so. But in all honesty, I do not know how many years I have left in me.
Hey,
I have lived for such a long time, but there is always something else to do. And I have to keep going in order to do it. I think I will be glad when I am done.
huh. That is something I would say. I'm sure you'll be kicking around for years yet.
Oh, I don't know. I really don't.
Hey, cut out, Win.
Have you encountered many abominations, apart from the ones in the Circle Tower?
What do you ask?
You are younger than I, and your nerves yet have some steel in them. Did you feel any fear facing the abominations?
Some, but I knew I could not falter.
The first time I saw an abomination, my blood turned to ice. It was months before the nightmares stopped. It was the knowledge that I could easily become one of them that frightened me the most.
Huh. But it is this knowledge that drives you to be cautious.
One slip. All it takes is one slip, and everything you are is simply gone. Replaced by madness. And there is no turning back, or at least that's what they say.
Huh. You have doubts?
Of late, I have begun to wonder if there is any way an abomination can be cured. Or if a mage could be so possessed and still retain their sanity, their humanity.
Win. This is Dragon Age, not Dark Souls. Let's see. If one retains one's humanity, one is not an abomination.
Yes, it is madness and cruelty that define abominations. If those are lacking, if the mage remembers the person they truly are, then they are not an abomination.